Hello everyone, I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Boom Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm really grateful that you're listening, subscribing and commenting. I really appreciate your support. And in this one, I want to kind of continue the financial videos I've been doing and talk a little bit about pennies versus dollars and that kind of idea of, if you take care of the pennies, the dollars will take care of themselves. That kind of thinking. I just wanted to speak a little bit more about it, whether I believe in it or not, and how it works in my own life. So for the longest time in my life particularly, all I know is my life. So I have been quite frugal, or have spent a lot of my time, particularly in my 20s, being quite frugal. And when I say frugal, I mean frugal. I didn't go as much as some people I know online, when they cut coupons and do all that stuff. But I did like squeeze out every little bit of a toothpaste, or squeeze out every little bit of a body lotion, cut the bottle and make sure I got all of it, or use like my car until like the last drop of gas is like used up in it, the petrol. And I mean, it's like it's been on empty for like half an hour, 45 minutes, and I'm still driving, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So that kind of frugality, that kind of thinking where I'm just literally trying to squeeze every penny out of the dollar, or every little bit, every juice out of the money that I'm spending, right? And I think that kind of thinking, at least now that I look back on it, it's a little bit toxic. It's not only bad for you because it affects your health, because you're constantly in that mode of anxiety and lack. But so it's not even just bad for your health, because in a lot of cases I would, instead of taking a $5 taxi or spending $3 or $2 on a metro bus ticket, I would walk half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour in the cold, and I would make myself sick that way. I mean, I got stronger because of it as well, and so you can look at it both ways. And I was very healthy, kind of, because of it, but also unhealthy in other ways, where I would be starving. I'd be so hungry. I was outside somewhere and I was starving. I'm like, I could eat my arm. I was so hungry. But because I was like, no, I can't spend money outside, like on food. Oh my God, there's food at home. Like I'm gonna go back and eat. We're almost home. And then 5 hours later, I get back home. I'm starving even more so. Like I'm ready to like munch anything that's in the fridge. I gulp down a bunch of food. But then, I get a hunger headache, and I'm tired, and I'm cranky, and I'm irritable, and the whole situation's crap. And I could literally have solved it by spending $5 on a sandwich, $3 on a bar, something. Like it wasn't even like I had to spend a ton of money, right? But like I would not give myself that little bit of indulgence, that little bit of thing. Okay, yeah, I can spend a little bit on myself. I did not take care of myself in that manner. And so I really despised that, because I hated myself for doing that to myself, but also I kept on doing it. So that level of frugality, even though it's not as extreme as some people can be, I don't think it actually really works. Because yes, you are saving the pennies, and like, the way you do the little things is how you do the big things. Absolutely. But the problem is that what happens in that kind of thinking is that you're so focused on saving the pennies that you end up spending a lot of dollars without even thinking about it. For example, I'll give you a very simple example. So I used to, whenever we travel, and I noticed this about my parents, and then I did it myself as well. I'm like, I'm never going to do it. And then I did it. So whenever we travel as children, my parents would always pack our luggage, our suitcase to the max. Of course, we're buying things for our family. We're going back to India, taking things for them. And so our luggages are packed, and then suddenly they check and they're like, oh, you're overweight, you need to pay. Right? The problem I always found was that if they had just paid a little bit more attention to it and thought, okay, hey, our bags are quite packed to the max. Maybe we should buy extra luggage beforehand because it's cheaper, rather than going to the airport and paying a ton of money afterwards. And I did the same thing for the longest time. Instead of buying a little bit of extra luggage beforehand, maybe 10 kilograms for $100, I would end up spending $300 at the airport for the same exact 10 kilograms, because they charge you more at the airport for extra luggage in a lot of cases. This is a very simple example, right? But it's just the fact that because we're so focused on the pennies, we're so much in anxiety mode, we're just like, ugh. Our brains are not able to think creatively out of the box and do things in a way that can help us save hundreds of dollars in the long run, right? Hundreds. So for example, you spend $30 on a pair of shoes, which is not very comfortable, but it's cheap and you got it on a sale and it's okay, you lose it for a bit. You use it for a couple of months and then it breaks down, tears apart, and it's gone. If you spend the same amount of thinking and you buy $100 pair of shoes, yes, it's more expensive. It's not on sale. It's a good pair of shoes. It never goes on sale, but it's sturdy. It lasts forever. You buy that. It's good for your feet. It lasts for a much, much longer period of time, 2-3 years maybe. Pays for itself much, much better. And it doesn't give you as many foot problems, which in your later life are going to cause you a lot of strife, believe me. I've seen people like that. So it's just literally that kind of thinking, that kind of frugality. It's actually not good. I know people who have lived frugally and then saved a lot of money that way, but then their health suffers, their mindset suffers, they're constantly in anxiety, their psychology suffers, their physiology suffers, in general, their relationships suffer. It is not the way to do it. I'm not saying don't save money. Of course, save money. And I'm not saying spend money willy-nilly without thinking about it. Absolutely not. But there is a limit to the way you should be treating yourself poorly or not because you want to save money, right? If you can afford it, if you can afford an extra $50 on shoes, why not buy a better pair of shoes that will last you a long time? Recently, and I'm not even saying hundreds of thousands of dollars, I'm just saying $100 pair of shoes. So recently I love Teva's, T-E-V-A, Teva, and they have this Teva Tira sandals. Tira, I think it means earth. Anyways, they are the best walking sandals in the world. I find them the most comfortable. They have a nice art support. They're just brilliant. I just love them. And so recently I bought them for about $120. And I wear them, and every single time I wear them, my feet thank me because I walk a lot. I walk 10 to 15,000 steps a day, typically. Sometimes more, actually, sometimes less, mostly more. Or average, I would say 10 to 12,000 for sure, almost every day. And so, because I'm going here and there, and I need a good pair of shoes. And I used to wear shoes that were really bad for me. And then I saw an aunt of mine who wore perhaps really bad shoes when she was younger. And now her feet are completely deformed. Her toes are like claws. She can't walk properly. She limps. She's always in pain. And probably there's a hereditary item to it as well. It's not completely because of the shoes. But I saw that and I'm thinking to myself, I want to walk even in my 80s and 90s as much as possible. I cannot have this happen to me, right? Now, this is not the only reason I buy in good shoes. It's because I walk a lot. I need good shoes. But in general, that was definitely a reminder for me, saying that, hey, this $120 you spend on your shoes, worth it. It's worth it. Think about your future self, and that future self is going to thank you for saying, hey, thank you for buying good shoes because now I can keep on walking rather than having to sit all the time because my feet hurt. You know what I'm saying? It's just a simple thing, but it's I feel like the frugality aspect of things kind of does not look at the long-term view of things, right? You're just buying a $20 pair of shoes right now because you're like, hey, it's so cheap right now. Awesome. I'm saving a lot of money. But you're not looking at the long-term view of how long will those shoes last? How much time will I have to spend repairing those shoes? How much time will I spend cradling my feet because they hurt so bad because those shoes suck, right? And so all that stuff comes into play as well. Now, I'm not saying you need to buy a $2,000 pair of shoes. If you can afford it, do it. I'm not saying that that's what you need to do. But if you can buy a good pair of shoes that are going to last you, like those Tevas, they are brilliant. I wear them every single day almost. When I go on trips, especially vacations, and I know I'm going to walk a lot in the city, I take those because those are going to be guaranteed taking care of my feet. And I'm going to come back home and I'm not going to die, right? And I want to walk a lot. It's a given when I'm traveling. So I love them. I love them. They're worth it. Every single penny I spent on them. I've used it over and over again. I've only bought them 6 months ago, but I think I've used them equivalent of 6 years of usage already. You know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of thinking I want to bring into play. So yes, you should take care of the pennies, of course, but do not forget about the dollars. And when I say dollars, I'm not just talking about the monetary aspect of things, but the psychological aspect, physiological aspect, the spiritual aspect. All of those things have to be taken care of as well. Those are your dollars as well. your feet working properly are your dollars as well, right? It's not just money, right? And so you have to think holistically when you're thinking about money. And I feel like when I was very frugal when I was younger, thankfully I stopped doing that because it was not working for me, and I was getting sick and all that stuff. But when I did that in the past, when I think of how I used to live and how I want to live, it was a very disparaging thing because there's a huge difference between them, right? Like where I want to be and where I am. Now I always, whenever I think about the way I want to spend money, I'm always kind of bringing that thought into my head. Hey, how do you want to live? Do you want to live? You don't have to be completely luxurious, but do you want to take care of yourself? Do you want to take care of your future self? How do you want to be so that you're not always just being, oh, I'm frugal. That's not the way to live. It's about using your money to the max that works for you in this moment in time. And so I feel like this is a very good way of looking at the world, and also financially. If you want to look at your money that way, it's very, very good, because you don't want to just save for the rest of your life. That's not the whole point. The point is to live your life to the max depending on your situation, right? So I hope this makes sense to you. I would definitely speak about this topic again because it's such a deep topic and I feel very close to it. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on frugality, on money, on saving the pennies versus saving the dollars, all of that stuff. I'm really excited to get a conversation going about this. Again, I'm really grateful for you being on my channel. I really appreciate all of you. I shall see you in the next one. Bye for now.